Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to our podcast. People bring profit. Means a lot to us. Hope it means a lot to you. But into the storm of hospitality. My name's Chris Olexa, CEO, founder of Aspire to Be Hospitality Group. Sitting over here, my beautiful wife, Kimberly Olexa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And Justin Smith over here, sitting in his nice new Aspire to Be
I'm loving
More.
it.
That's a good
Loving
shirt.
Red.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
We just got
love
those
that
shirts
logo.
too, so
Yeah.
we make sure we pass those out to all the staff in the office because they keep looking like, where'd you get that shirt? So I
Yeah.
need to bring
That's
that
the
up.
new one.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So that's what's awesome. We built this brand and that people are really enjoying the
Swag.
The swag.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, I think I'm gonna throw this one out, guys. This topic today, and it's kind of gonna be more personal, okay? Because it's really at the end of the day when you're building your company or being an entrepreneur, and visionary, you got to go back to your base of what motivates you, right? I think the first thing that you learned a long time ago was to be motivated, to win a Super Bowl or to go, make the varsity football team, or what's motivating you to work so hard, to go work out, do things. So in business, everybody thinks, okay, it's just to be financially. I want to be rich. Yeah. But I think, no, you're right. That's not going to work out in your favor. You got to have a different one. Different motivator.
Yeah.
And I think that when you find that self in your leadership and who you are and find that core mountain, like what is your mountain? What is going to drive you? And then if you reach that success, I'm sure financial success will come to that too.
Sure.
No telling what value that is, but we hope a lot. But again, that's what we drove. And I think, the motivation, I go back and I want to challenge us too, because I kind of go back and challenge myself, like what got me into this? And I remember why this topic came up to me was I sat down with one of our leaders one day and he asked me, what's the definition of success to you, where you're at right now?
Oh yeah.
And that's a question that it's a trick question.
Yeah.
Because if you answer that to your people, your herd, your family down, that can, ruffle some feathers, because it could be, if you say the wrong thing, it could be about you. Like what's success? It's about, and you're like, just money. And they're like, oh, then I'm not important to you. So I think that's a topic that I think we need to discuss and get out there to all of us, because I would love to know you too. I spent a lot of time with you, of course, and I know a lot about you, but sometimes you don't share that stuff to me until we really get into this. So I think I'm going to throw this at you, Kimberly. Tell me some stuff that motivates you every day.
Oh, what motivates me is just defying the odds of where I came from.
Yeah.
My testimony of, my childhood, and just really overcoming those obstacles that was put before me without my choices. And so that's my driving factor of who I am today.
Yeah.
And so I let that drive me, along with the Savior that brought me out of the pit.
Yeah.
Jesus, that He pours into me, I pour into him. We have that that relationship that I make sure that I cultivate every single day. That's who I am, and that's who my foundation is. And I'm not perfect. He knows. He puts me in the palm of his hand, and I pry his fingers open daily and fall through. But that is my motivating factor, is just I'm really Christ-based.
Yeah.
And so I get up early every morning to 5 a.m. is my goal, to spend that. Not always is it 30 minutes. That's my goal, but sometimes it may be just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the beauty in that is I don't beat myself up for 10 minutes that I may have only got to spend 10 minutes. The beauty in that is I forgive myself and allow myself, hey, at least I'd got 10 minutes in. And so that's what motivates
special.
me.
Yeah.
And I get asked often, how do you do it? Being a mother of 4, being owner, founder of Aspire to Be, running restaurants, how do you do it? And I can honestly say, I don't know how I do it. I can't tell you there's no playbook for how I do it. I just do it.
You get it done.
I just get it done. And it's not an option. Anything else is not an option for me.
Man,
It's just, I dive in and I get it done.
That is, that's awesome for people to hear out there, because there's no and Justin's still in this word here, playbook
Yeah.
of how you run a business.
Right.
I mean, truly, it's and how you have a family. How do you do things? We can dive a lot into that, but truly, don't put so much pressure on yourself.
Yes.
To know that you're doing it right. Just
Right.
do it your way and do it right. And if you feel good, and you know, it's like you say you only got 10 minutes to spend on your Bible that morning, and you really spend 30.
Yeah.
Just think this is also too if you're going to go running. I already want to run 3 miles, but I only ran 1 mile. Well, you still ran 1 mile.
Yeah.
So you got some goodie in. Mm-hmm. And I understand you didn't get to finish because probably you were making lunch or you were like, oh, forgot it's pajama day at school. So, I got to run upstairs to get it because we do that a lot. Yeah. But you talk about, you do get up at 5 and you hit, and that alarm wakes me up too. So it's like, okay. Yeah. So, we haven't figured that out yet, how to keep that line. But no, it's important that just a home run of a nugget there that just says that you don't know how you do it. There's no playbook written on it, but you just get it done. And you feel, I mean, obviously you've built something for success. And you focus on your family and your faith and what you do. So that's really good. Well, Justin, I mean, I know you got a lot of this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like when you ask, like, what does success look like for you? The easiest thing to do is go, I make a bunch of money. But for me, I go to the place of just like the folks that mean the most to me are happy.
Yeah.
And I love what I do because I think, yes, there's aspects of what it takes to make them happy, giving them things or, might be material, but a lot of that's my time too. And a lot of that's being a good father and a good mentor or a good husband or a good friend or someone to lead on. So I see success as if you can look around and the folks in your inner circle or your friends that you care about the most are truly happy, you're probably doing a pretty good job. If you can if you can combo that with loving what you do, I think that's great. For me, what also motivates me is when I was younger and, when I was in the stores and just with a different workforce, I used to be a much tougher leader. I used to be much more black and white. I used to be much more mean. Mm-hmm. So I'm now motivated as if you can get the same results through more soft skills, empathy, patience, and things that are just that matter, and you can react to situations in a different way than yelling at someone. That's also awesome. I think the idea of as leaders, we're responsible for creating other leaders and building people up to even surpass ourselves. I'm obsessed with that. Yeah. I'm obsessed with putting people next to me and trying as hard as I possibly can for them to overcome the things that I've done and giving them as much a platform possible. And then I'll end with what mostly motivates me is going through a household or a childhood where substance abuse was on the table. I didn't always have someone that I could always rely on for a good, solid answer to things, given at what time of the day it was, right? Or what the mentality was of who I was asking. So for me, I take a lot of pride in the whole idea of working smarter and harder. And I don't do drugs. I don't drink. And I'm always going to be on the receiving end of the line, no matter when, 24/7, whether it's you guys or someone in the field, they'll know they'll always get a consistent, confident, fair answer from me. And that's not just people who work for us. That's family, friends, and children as well. And I see success and I'm truly motivated knowing that I can be a rock for folks and I might be able to flip the script of their day or make them do something positive versus negative or make them stay with us a little bit longer because they believe in the people that we are. And that's my ultimate motivation. So being happy, the folks around me being happy and being able to be a rock because a lot of my life I didn't have those folks to confide in. So I love the idea that people can call me I'm just humbled by the idea of people would even want to call me for advice or, to say, hey, can you take a look at this? Or how would you lead this situation? Or what would your perspective be? Or what would your judgment be? I'm just humbled that people would even ask me that. And I think everybody in my life deserves a good, honest, true answer all of the time. And being able to be consistent there, I think that's success. Yeah. Because that puts me above others who decide to take shortcuts and do other things.
That's, both of y'all's comments are just, you kind of start that from your childhood. and I think that's what's really built you up, and that's what you should look at yourself too. Anybody out there, look at yourself. What truly motivates you to take this step to whatever business you're doing or whatever in your company's doing. To what can drive you, and you need that. And both of you are taking things, and I know I do. You're taking things that it was a storm. That made you who you are today, and you rode that wave. We were talking about this the other day. I mean, it's things bad that's happened in your life. Let that motivate you and drive you, and like ride that surf wave, and surf that baby. I think that when I go back to look at a motivator for me, it was the same thing like Kim. It all started with me when I was young and didn't have nice things. I didn't grow up in the best household. I didn't have a family atmosphere, and I didn't have that surrounding of and me, when I started dating Kim and what she is today, it's like we didn't do those big get-togethers. We didn't have birthdays. We didn't have that thing, and I struggle with that still. But it motivates me every day to get better at it and understand where she's teaching me is I didn't have it, and I'm not using that as a crutch now. And it goes back to that. What motivates me in the business, and when I get asked that by employees or managers and asked what it's like, I feel like I've built a company. I've turned the society what I was supposed to be in society. I've changed that, and I didn't want society to dictate who I was. And it started out me being young, like. I want a nice car. I'd like a nice truck. I don't want this little thing. And I remember bringing Kim home to her house, and where I lived wasn't the safest. You didn't really, when you got out of your car, you better run to your house. And and I remember bringing you home thinking this, like I would love to live in a place that I didn't stress about if I left the front door unlocked or locked.
Yeah.
And now I have that, due to hard work and God and just giving me that. So what motivates me is knowing that we're able now. There's a lot of people that work in this office, and there's a lot of people that work out in the fields that I get excited when it's happened in this conference room that we've been in. It's like, hey, I just bought my first brand new car, or hey, me and my wife just bought our first house. That to me is like, wow, I got to buy a house that I can go home to and be happy for her, and not be stressed about if I left the door unlocked or locked.
Yeah,
they're doing the same.
Yeah, and there's so much value in what you just said about you wanted to have more, and that you had that experience. You went through that experience because basically you didn't take the elevator up, you took the stairwell. And so you put in the work to, I heard that's not Kim Olexa's-ism. I've heard that.
That's pretty good. I like it.
On somebody's podcast, or I've read it in a book or somewhere. But
still shamelessly, I love it. Use it.
Yeah, the point is, we did not take an elevator to get here. We took the stairs, and we do that each and every day. And we visualize that. We are mindful of that on a daily basis. And so, that's who we are.
We're good stewards of that too.
You said aspire to be more, and it couldn't be more awesome that I'm sitting here wearing
that shirt.
Aspire to be more shirt.
Yeah.
And that's what we're motivated by. I aspire to be more no matter what role I'm in, what job I'm in, and all facets of what I do. So like when we are truly motivated at the idea of aspiring to be more and better today than we were yesterday. And that mindset and that motivation through all of the experience and the struggle and the heartache and the substance abuse and everything we've ever dealt with led up to us not reflecting in the past, us aspiring to be more today and better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm motivated by, that we can sit here today through all of that pain and suffering and be godly people, be healthy people, be trying to work on our leadership and being aspired to being more tomorrow. I'm energized. I'm pumped. That mission is what I'm motivated by. And I think this mission that we all have here is making folks happier and in a better place, and it's producing better results. And I'm aspiring to be more for our people, and that's creating profits. Boom.
Go ahead, babe.
And we're defining success.
Yes,
ma'am. Yeah.
All along the way.
You are. Which was so awesome about that, and for everybody out there listening, we didn't just do this like at the very first. We grew into this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we had something that we attached ourselves to let it be our our wave to surface, and right, like it was a lot of negative, and a lot of people are going to have different negatives. Negatives are different for people,
Right.
but let that be your wave. Let that be your jet fuel that kind of helps you burst off in here. And then as you grow as a company or as a leader or whoever, just then use other nuggets, use other isms, use other ways to keep growing your company. I mean, when you say aspire to be more, I mean, that we weren't that 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We weren't.
Right.
And I look at it this way. In years back when I used to watch football on TV, it was smash mouth running football. You remember those days, Cowboys, Giants?
I remember the Cowboys. Yeah, Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
Because I was a Giants fan. I'm from New
Yeah,
Jersey,
you know that.
so I know the Cowboys all too well.
That's why I brought that up.
Yeah.
But they did smash mouth football. When I played football in high school, it was just pound the ball, 22 base, run the ball, fullback, blocking. Now you watch, because our high school team did win their first playoff game last night, which is exciting to see. But that now it's just finesse game. It's right. It's a lot of passing. It's a spread offense. Things change, and you can change as a leader. Mm-hmm. Don't be stagnant. Yeah. Don't just sit in your chair and think you know it all. Mm-hmm. Change yourself. Look at stuff. Watch what people are doing. Listening what people are doing. Watch why this company's successful, and watch why that company's not successful. That's what I always tell people to do. When you're motivating yourself, you got to find ways, and don't just focus to motivate yourself on the good stuff. Like I always say, I always pay attention to the games I lost on video more than I watch the ones I won, because I want to see how I lost. And vice versa, when you're looking at it and you're trying to grow as a better leader, you do things. And I think that's how we grew as Aspire to Be More.
Yeah.
Because it means so much more. And that's why we did this podcast. People ask, why are you doing this podcast? Well, because we challenge ourselves to be Aspire to Be More. And we want to share that. And we want to share that with our team members and our leaders and our herd out there. But we want to share it with other people.
Right.
There's a lot of nuggets that we can share that you're probably not going to learn in a college, right? I don't know. I've never stepped really in a business college.
Yeah.
I don't think they teach that.
I'm super motivated by this podcast, by the fact that we have a forum to challenge ourselves every day and work with each other and, just bring things up that we need to work on and focus on those losses. But I'm equally as motivated doing this podcast and getting some feedback and some comments of, what others are either struggling with or looking for additional insights with, or even take a look and, observe who we are and what we're doing. And we're trying to pour in and let you know who we are. Yeah. Let us know. And we would love to interact. And I'm motivated about the idea of expanding my network and build, pouring into leaders I don't know yet.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's-
And me too. If I can help somebody along the way, absolutely.
What's funny that,
That's what it's all about.
It is, and we talk about that here as we go into this motivational speech and how we got where we got and how we get where we're going too. It's like it keeps motivating. And now the next step is Aspire to Be More. It's into the storm. We just have different steps of levels of motivation. I don't think you'll ever say, and I think, you said this, and I think both of y'all said this, there's, the mountain, right? There's a mountain, but then you said, I don't know if the mountain, because I don't want to ever stop climbing.
Right. That's right.
And that was amazing to me because that's who we are.
We're at the top of the mountain, but we're really only halfway up.
Halfway up.
It's one of our favorite things to say, because you're never at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
No way, not this group, and you always aspire to be.
To go back when I opened my first Quiznos, my late grandfather, who I really looked up to, he was a business owner who failed as an architect and went bankrupt and and I've heard some great things about him from other people, because he said he filed for bankruptcy and that but that in the old days you filed for bankruptcy. This was 70, 60 years ago. But one of the guys that owns a lumber yard, he said, my grandpa told me a story about your grandfather. He said, when your grandfather filed for bankruptcy, because he's a big architect, home builder, and this was when the Great Depression happened, and I don't know the dates, all that, but he said, your grandfather came to my grandfather, every day, every week, and gave him a check, and off his just regular paycheck, just to keep paying him off. He said, until I paid his debt. And he said, your grandfather paid his debt completely. Now, it took him years, but he said, my grandfather told me that's one admirable man right there. So my grandfather was good, because he came to me one day when I opened my first Quiznos, and we had hardly no money. And he came through the line, and I was like, Papa, this is on me. He said, no, I'm paying. I said, Papa, come on, this is on me. And he was in his little suit, and he said, listen, don't ever give away anything free until you made it.
Yeah.
And I promise you, you'll never always make it in life.
You'll never make it.
You'll
yeah.
never make it. Just have that mindset. Go back to the mountain.
Yeah.
So if you reach the mountain or you think you're on the top, you need another motivator.
That's right.
Layer it with another one.
Yeah.
Then layer it with another one. Then layer it with another. And it's not always going to be financially. It's what you can do to help others or change the world.
We've all had mentors, and you can call it a person, you can call it a reading, a scripture, anything. But there's something. I'm motivated. The idea that someone would one day email me or send me a note that something I said or something I did for them, or I was a mentor to them. Because I mean, we know the people who we really lean into and who have during our times that have just gotten us to where we've gotten. I'm motivated at the idea and really try to put some thought into how I can be that for others.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. If I could be your grandpa to someone else one day, and they something ticks that they go, that's how I'm going to live my life. Like that guy. Yep. He was kind in a situation. He could have been crappy.
Yeah.
And as a result, I did something awesome, and I didn't go down a beaten path. That's truly motivating for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me as Miss Virginia that just sat at our first
Yes.
nose and
Yes.
said, if you put God in your business will not fail. Yeah. And Miss Virginia's long gone. I don't know even where she's at
Still
anymore,
motivated today on that.
She
I need to find her.
still motivates me to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody needs a Miss Virginia.
And to sum it all up, guys, just like this podcast, you're going to be watching it and you're going to see some stuff that's probably a lot different than other podcasts out there. And that's why we did it. That was our dream of doing this. And we just, we saw a vision, and it was something that we felt like to give back to. And, but when we do this, what's awesome is we really go back and challenge ourselves too. We have great conversations after this. And I'm sure, hopefully you will out there. Have conversations like, I kind of like what they said, or I didn't like what they said. Mm-hmm. And I can take a little bit of that, but I can change a little of that. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
We sit in this meeting, Kim writes her notes. Yeah. And we got bored back there. We'll write a note down. Hey, we need to look at our company better that way. Mm-hmm. So that's what's cool about it. And the mountains just keep getting bigger, so.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God, that's right. Thank God we're here to do it. And,
yes, sir.
And we have a great team to push us along. So, hey, again, thank you guys for following us, guys. Go subscribe, comment, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us what you don't listen to. Appreciate you.
Cool.